Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back, student. Today we will study about demand. Yeah. Okay. Quantity demanded is the amount of a good that buyer are willing and able to purchase. This is what demand is. And then, so after we understand about demand, let's start to comprehend what is the law of demand. Okay, law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. So let's see the demand schedule. This is what demand schedule is. So here in demand schedule, this is the table that shows the relationship between the price of good and the quantity demanded. So here we will compare, we will relate the relationship between demand or between price and quantity. So here the relationship between price and quantity is like negative relationship. So when the price is higher, then the quantity demanded will be lower. So after we saw about the demand schedule, then we can conclude what is the determinants of demand. So there are some determinants of demand. The first is market price, the price itself. The second is consumer income. The third is the price of related goods. The fourth is tastes, and the last is expectations. So this determinant will influence on how demand is increase or decrease. So let's talk about the determinant of demand. So let's repeat. The determinant of demand first is the market price here. With the market price, we can see that when the price is higher, the quantity demanded will be lower. And then the price is lower, the quantity demanded will be higher. And the second, consumer income. So when the consumer income is increased, the quantity of demanded will be increased. And then price of related good. So the relationship between the price of related goods is like reverse. When the price of related good is decreased, the quantity demanded of, for example, like this, the price of related good is PY, and then the price of good itself is PX. When PY is increased, then the quantity of demanded will be increased. And vice versa, when the price of related good is decreased, then the quantity of demanded of the goods related to the price will be increased. And next is about the taste. Yeah, the taste will influence the quantity demanded of a certain goods. And the last is expectation. So after we know about the determinant of the demand, yeah, so we can conclude that the demand curve is a downward sloping line. The downward sloping line is relate the price to quantity demanded. This is the illustration of demand curve. Yeah. So the demand curve here is downward sloping, or we can say that the relationship is negative. It means that when the price is in this point 0.50, yeah, then the quantity demanded is 9. For example, we want to talk about how consumer buy an ice cream. When the price is, for example, only 50 cents, so here, as can be seen in the chart, that the quantity of ice cream cones is about 9 units. Then maybe for the next month, the price of ice cream increased from 0.50 to 1 cent. Yeah. Then the quantity of demanded or quantity of ice cream cones here is decreased from 9 cones to only 8 cones. And then maybe for a few weeks, the price of ice cream increased from 1 cent to 1.50 cent. Yeah. Then the quantity of ice cream cone will be lower from only like this one is like maybe 7.5, yeah, or here like 7 become only 6 cones. Yeah, it means that when the price is higher, the quantity of ice cream cones will be lower, and this will show that the demand curve is have a negative relationship between price and quantity demanded, or we can see that the demand curve is downward sloping. Okay, and then after we finish with the demand curve, so in the introduction to microeconomics, we should understand about what ceteris paribus is. So ceteris paribus means all variables other than the one being studied are assumed to be constant. The constant is the key. So I repeat, ceteris paribus means all variables other than the one being studied are assumed to be constant. Literally, ceteris paribus means other thing being equal. So here, like the demand curve slopes downward is because ceteris paribus, and lower prices imply a greater quantity demanded. Okay, and then market demand. So after we talk about market demand, and then ceteris paribus here is assumption. So what is market demand? So market demand refers to the sum of individual demands for a particular good or service. And graphically, individual demand curves are summed horizontally to obtain the market demand curve. So we will talk about the change in the quantity demanded versus change in demand. So here, change in quantity demanded, yeah, is the movement along the demand curve. What is the movement caused by? So the movement caused by a change in the price of product. We can see it from this graph. Yeah. So here, the downward sloping curve of demand curve will be shifting. Yeah. Will be shifting around the curve. So from A point to C point here. Yeah, this is the changes in quantity demanded. So actually, what caused the changes in quantity demanded? For example, it's because of tax. Yeah. For example, a tax that rises in the price of cigarette. And when the tax excise to the cigarette, yeah, hikes or increase, then it will make the result of the movement along the demand curve. This is what we call the movement along the demand curve. So only shifting or moved with along the demand curve, not move like higher or lower, but only along the demand curve. So this is changes in the quantity demanded captured in this graph. So here is y-axis. So this is one is x-axis, number of cigarettes smoked per day. When there is a tax increase in the cigarette commodity, yeah, then the quantity of demanded or the number of cigarettes smoked per day will be decreased from 20 to only 12 cigarettes per day because of the increasing of the tax or a tax that rises. And the tax that rises the price will change the demand or maybe decrease the number of cigarettes smoked per day. Okay, I think it's all for today. Maybe you should remind that the demand curve is downward sloping, yeah, and then we will continue to the next topics about supply curve. Okay, thank you very much. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.